What's up? My name's Montre Bible, spiritual advisor and tarot reader, and I'm going to be discussing toxic femininity. Now, before I get into that, you have to understand the opposite of that. And we hear a lot about what toxic masculinity. So let's discuss that real quick, and then we'll go into what the opposite of that is toxic femininity. Toxic masculinity is when you have this hyper masculine energy in the world, and this is the world that we pretty much used to. We've lived in it, and it's when everything is so masculine or masculine dominated that people are fearful of feminine energy, mostly manifesting in men, because men hold most of the masculine energy. We have a male dominated world where women do not or have not had power. And that's not quite the case now, but in the past it has been that way. When it comes to spirituality, toxic masculinity is about rules and order, and this is where you get religion from, where we have religion kind of running everything. We have the destruction of true spirituality in many indigenous and native tribes because religion takes over. It's the hyper masculine energy of conquer and defeat and dominate. Now, while that brings order and structure, you lose the creativity that is needed for the world to advance or progress. So what then is toxic femininity? The world has swung from one pendulum to the next. So we've gone from a very hyper masculine world to a hyper feminine world. We see this being displayed with the rise in feminism. We see this displayed with the rise of men expressing their feminine nature. Now, it is needed. We need to have these things happen. We need to have this balance. But when you have too much feminine energy, just like when you have too much masculine energy, what happens is there's destruction. So toxic femininity is being overly receptive, because feminine energy is about receiving, being receptive, not being projective and I need to conquer. Or you have a smothering energy. It's inclusive, because feminine energy is inclusive. It says, come on in. But with the hyper femininity, there is an overdoing of it. It's too much inclusion. I used to say, if you keep the door open, then you're going to let the flies in. So you want to be inclusive to people. You want to give everybody a chance, and you want to allow people in, but you need a screen. You need a screen door. You just don't open your window, because if you do, you're going to have flies, bugs, birds, and everything you don't want in your house. Toxic femininity is the over-inclusion of things. It's the smothering of people. It's saying, I need to protect you. This is for your own good. It is emotionally manipulative. A lot of things or a lot of rules that are made from a very emotional thing. It's coming from an emotional standpoint. I feel. If you have a lot of people talking about, I feel this way, thus it's true, that's what you have, toxic femininity, especially if it's not based on truth or facts. Now, it is necessary to pay attention to your feelings. I'm a Pisces. I'm quite aware of feelings and emotions, but also, you have to balance that out with the analytical. Why am I feeling this way? Is it true? Emotions are like clouds. They come and they go. So you don't want to make a lot of major decisions based solely on your feelings. You need to ground it and root it on some type of fact or foundational truth. What we're seeing now in today's world is that people don't know how to define women. Now, I never heard about people having a problem defining what men are, but we're seeing right now that people are unsure what a woman is. So you have trans women saying that they're actually women, and saying that women are cis women. With toxic femininity, you have men taking the form of women only to dominate. You're going to have men who can't win unless they embrace all the femininity that's in the world. So you're going to have men who are faking the funk and pretending to be women so they can be in women's spaces, so that they can win in women's sports. They can do whatever they want to do. And who's going to suffer from that? Women. With toxic femininity, you have young girls growing up who don't want to be women because they don't want to be weak. They don't want to be seen as weak. So what they do, they strive to be men. Once they achieve becoming or being perceived as men, then they don't like it. It's confusing to them. People treat them different because, yes, in truth, people treat men way differently than they treat women. So where do we find the balance? When you become aware of toxic femininity and what it is, you need to strive to find a balance between the masculine and feminine. Masculinity is going to be about standards and rules and what we are aware of in our face, what is real. Balance and femininity is going to be about feelings. It's going to be about intuition and spiritual things and things we can't quite see with our eyes, but we just know. You can't negate either one. We need both in order to have creativity. You can't be an artist just knowing the rules of drawing. You can know the rules of drawing but never have a creative piece. Otherwise, you're just a computer popping out pictures. But when you have that feminine energy and you balance it with the skills that you know, then you start coming up with creative ideas on how to manifest those things. So my point here is that the world is moving toward a very toxic feminine energy, and this has nothing to do with just women. It has a lot to do with men as well, but we are going to see this manifest mostly in women, and if this doesn't get under control, we are going to still destroy not only women, but we're going to destroy masculinity too. Can't get into the mindset that being masculine is bad. You need masculinity as much as you need femininity. In a nutshell, you need masculine and feminine energy to be creative. Let me get off my rant. Tell me what you guys think. Leave me a comment below, and be sure you subscribe to my videos, because if you don't do it, then who will? Talk to you guys later. Peace out.